Hello, welcome to Money, Markets, and Motivation with Mike. Our word of the day is limpid. Limpid is our word of the day of a liquid free of anything that darkens, completely clear, of a person's eyes unclouded and clear. So that's our word of the day. Now we're going to move over to see if we can get our markets. So this is a little bit of a look at our markets. Some of the big cap techs are pulling back. But some of the news, NVIDIA and AMD have agreed to give 15% of their revenue to the government to pay for to be a license to sell to China. So Tesla is continuing its upward move. It kind of looked like a breakout last week. And Eli Lilly is continuing its move as well, but it's kind of a mixed bag with the rest of the market. Software is under some selling. Now let us move over to the crypto area. So Bitcoin did hit up to 122, I believe, earlier today. Got close to 120. Yeah, the high was 122, 297. It's been under some selling ever since then. Ethereum went up to 443.67. It is now under some selling. It looks like most of cryptocurrencies, except these two issues right over here, are under some selling. So that is a story right there. Now we're going to move on to our charts. Core Scientific came out with their earnings. They were up 99%. They're up slightly up at 0.76%. Elf Beauty had interesting report. I'm just going to bring that up in 1 second. So Elf Beauty soared 12% on the market today, easily to make it the top performer. It was boosted by a bullish call by Morgan Stanley analyst Dara Mohsenian. In a note to clients, she hiked the stock from equal weight to overweight and raised its price target from 114 to 134. It's currently at around 111. Consensus earning estimates for the stock are way too low considering potential profit contribution far above street consensus expectations, she said. At the moment, Wall Street sees earnings falling 36% to $5.99 per share before rebounding with 11% growth next year. It has been hit due to worries over the impact of China tariffs on the company. She also sees the acquisition of Rhode, the beauty line founded by model and socialite Haley Bieber, as a potential catalyst. Elf acquired the company for $1 billion in May. So that is kind of the story on Elf Beauty. Now we're going to move on, take a look where the big money is flowing. That was a pretty good bar right there. Fannie Mae has a pretty big move today, up 15%. We've got two strong blue towered bars here in a row. Right over here was their breakout at $8.10. It's been consolidating ever since then. And so that is the story with Fannie Mae. We move on to INQ. Quantum computers for the purchase of commercial and industrial use moves up 7% today. Earnings came in at negative 289%. Look at our former holding Rigetti. It looks like it's forming a base right here. Its earnings are out tomorrow. Soundhound, which had a pretty big move last week, follows up with another 17% move today. Look at these two strong bars. Celsius, which had two strong moves on Thursday and Friday. Earnings come in at 18% improvement over a year ago quarter, up another 3.83%. Xpeng, Chinese car company, gaps up today up 5.5%. Peloton Interactive, big company in 2020, moves up to its pivot zone. We've got a base here at $7.99. So $8.09 would be the buy price. If you were interested in it, it's up 5.36%. We got 3 days of continued strong buying. Curtiss-Wright, up 3.51%. Really needs to clear some of that previous 10-day and 20-day moving average. Looks like it's getting up to the 20-day. POWL Industries, previous strong performer, manufactures power substation packages. It's up 8.62% and some pretty good volume here. Elf Beauty we went over. And at Nexstar Media, they're in discussions to buy this company TGNA, which gaps up nearly 30% today. Look at that huge volume. So that is a story there. And then we got some news. I'll just quickly go through these. This is Cannabis. They're all moving today. This is up 27% when President Trump said he is looking favorable on cannabis. Curaleaf up 37%. True Live Cannabis up nearly 44%. Canopy Growth up 26%. Kronos Group up 16%. Tilray Brands up 41%. And then this is a British company that is issuing more shares. They're down 2.61% in the biotech area. So that is a story there. Take a look at our NASDAQ. Pulling back a little bit, down 0.31%. The equal weight, pulling back under its 50-day moving average off about 0.5%. S&P 500, pulling back slightly at 0.21%. The equal weight in the S&P, pulling back 0.28%, getting close to its 50-day moving average. IWM, pretty flat for the day. And the Dow Jones, pulling back 0.42%. Look at the financials, holding steady at the 50-day. And KBWB pulling back a little bit. Look at VIX. VIX gets a bounce. When the VIX gets a bounce, that's when the S&P pulls back, it's up 2%, it gapped up today. Take a look at the 10-year treasuries, off 0.28% at 4.27% interest. The 20-year is pretty flat at 3.56% interest. Utilities seem to be holding up pretty good. The other utilities doing well. Communications, it's up about 0.5%. Google has been trending in the right direction. Meta holding in this upper level of the gap up. Biotech falls to its 50-day moving average. The other biotech falls to its 200-day. Software falls to its 50-day. Technology holding pretty steady. Infrastructure bounces off of its 20-day. Semiconductors kind of holding steady. They tried to move and pull back a little bit. Airlines. Retail is up slightly. Consumer discretionary, where Tesla and Amazon are. Tesla looks like they gapped up 2.85%. Amazon pulling back. Apple, which has been moving pretty strong, has a slight pullback off 0.83%. Nvidia holding strong. AMD pulls back to the 10-day moving average. Broadcom. Netflix trying to work to get above the 50-day moving average. And Microsoft pulling back to the 10-day moving average right now. Go back to our ticker, our ETFs. Building materials is off 0.22. Metals and mining pulling back into the profit zone. Consumer staples holding strong. And healthcare pretty flat for the day. Uranium holding, sold off under the 20-day and then bounced back. And aerospace pulling back to the 10-day moving average. So that kind of wraps up that. See if there's anything other of note here. The Terra has been in the news for a while, but it did gap up on Friday. It's up another 3.35% today. Relative strength line against the S&P 500 is rising. Look at that move by TKO Group, up 10.25%. Pretty good volume. 3 days in a row. Earnings came in at plus 63% and gets to the top of its pivot zone. So TKO previously had a double bottom here, down to 133.07. The buy point of the double bottom would be 159.10. And it came up to 172.44. That would have been a pretty nice move. I recommended taking partial profits here, pull back to the 10-day moving average, and then set up another base. Broke out here. And then we got a little bit of a failed breakout. And now it is popping again after its earnings are repeated. And let's take a look at Albemarle. Looks like we got a big cup, kind of handles out. And we got a gap up today of 6.97%. Look at the growing volume coming into this. So that is it for our chart reading today. Now we're going to go over to our quote of the day. Quote of the day comes from Jonathan Swift, writer and author. A wise person should have money in their head, but not in their heart. So that's our show. Money, markets, and motivation with Mike. Hope everybody has a great day. If you can go out there and help somebody that needs some help, please do so. And I'll talk to you later.